Okay, friends, so we're going to do something a little different right now. So a disclaimer, a trigger warning, if you will. We live on the West Coast. We love Jesus, we're Christians, we go to church, but we drink alcohol! Oh no! If you have a problem with that, read Romans 14 and get back to me. And Paul said it's okay, and my name's Paul, so it's okay. So now that we've got that out of the way, I'm going to show you guys how to make the ultimate Manhattan. And I cannot take credit for this recipe. Like all good things, I got it from someone else. The proprietor of a local sort of real classy bar, I guess, called Jefferson Spirits, the owner. This is how he made a Manhattan for me. Totally changed my Manhattan loving life. So we're going to show you how to do it tonight. All credit goes to him. I wish I knew his name, but he owns Jefferson Spirits, so whatever. And this is probably one of those rare times where I'm actually qualified to do what I'm doing because dun, 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 I am a card-carrying alcohol server as permitted by the state of Oregon and the Oregon Liquor Control Commission. So I am a card-carrying server of alcohol. It was from a summer job last year. Okay, great. So let's get on it with the Manhattan. So, as you know, or you may not, because you live east of us and you don't drink and you love Jesus. So a Manhattan is typically bourbon, vermouth, and either a slice of orange peel and a cherry, a couple dashes of bitters, and you stir it up. You never want to shake it. This is like a Bond. James Bond. Oh, I prefer it shaken and all stirred. Oh, no. You stir it. If you shake it, it disrupts the wonderful aromatic and volatile compounds that make up the glorious alcohol journey we're going on. So don't shake it. You don't shake babies. You don't shake sodas. You don't shake beers. You don't shake martinis and Manhattans. And again, if you disagree with me, too bad. This is my video. So first of all, we need some ice for the cocktail shaker. So if the queso maker would like to follow me over here to our wonderful Samsung Korean import refrigerator, we're gonna get some cubed ice. That should be enough. And you might be asking yourself at this point, I just watched a guy get ice out of a refrigerator. But that guy that just got ice out of the refrigerator also invoked loving Jesus, Romans 14, and Paul, and cocktails. So that's why you're still with us. Okay, so we have our cocktail shaker. That's number one. Number two, there are a couple ways you can serve this. Traditionally, a Manhattan is served in a martini glass that's been pre-chilled with ice. One of the things I picked up from Jefferson Spirits was serving it in a whiskey glass with a giant cube of ice. Now, one of the laws of thermodynamics is the bigger your chunk of ice, the slower it dilutes your alcohol. Yeah, that's a thing. So that's what we're doing here. We're going with a big chunk of ice, and we have ice in our cocktail shaker. So the first thing we need some bourbon. I'm more of a Scotch guy, and if you saw the cabinet in my office, you'd understand I am Scottish. Tonight we are using, because it's afternoon, it's after 12, it is nighttime, so this is all legit. We're using a Jack Daniel's Rye. I like Rye Whiskey. If I'm gonna use bourbon, I'll use Bullet or Buffalo Trace. I got this in California where liquor is a little cheaper. I just like the flavor of Rye Whiskey. So we're gonna do 2 ounces of rye. We flip over our jigger with a J, jigger. That's what this is. And then here's where we're gonna go off the rails a little bit, okay? So this is not Dutch beer. This is actually vermouth. And we keep them in these sealed bottles because our refrigerator doesn't have the capacity for tall wine bottles. So we use beer bottles. Again, see Romans 14. All things in moderation. We use our beer bottles for the vermouth. So we're gonna do about 75% Sweet Red Vermouth, and then we're gonna top the rest off with Dry White Vermouth. Now the thing that you need to realize is most people are turned off by a Manhattan because if they're not made properly, they can taste kind of sweetsy. So that's 1 ounce combined of the red and the white vermouth. Again, that's like 75-25. Then we need 2 dashes of the bitters that no one can pronounce. Hey man, they be from Jamaica, so it'd be good. My cultural appropriation for the night was my Jamaican accent. Now this is where we're gonna really go off the rails. So we have something here called St. George Gin. This is a California gin. It's actually made with Doug fir, and it is imbued with this beautiful woodsy conifer. I took botany twice, that F. I got them mixed up. I did get an F in botany. The conifer, sweet imbued conifer flavors of this gin is amazing, but we are gonna use the cheap stuff, the New Amsterdam. This is just kind of like a well gin, and we're just gonna put a little splash in there. And what this does, this lends a savory edge to the cocktail, thus making it a little less sweet. So we take our giant purpose-purchased cocktail spoon, and we just give it a light stirring. We want to be delicate with all those aromatic compounds and all of the good esters of wood resins and such and whatnot that appear in our alcohol and make them taste just so good. So we give it a light stirring, and then we use the cocktail strainer here. We're gonna pour it over our ginormo ice cube. What is that floating in my drink? Oh well. So here comes the really, really fun part. So these are homemade brandied plums. And you might be asking yourself, why would they put plums in their Manhattan? Well, that's a good question. Thanks for asking. We thought it was a cherry tree when we picked them, and we were so disappointed because they made the worst brandied cherries. And then we found out it's a plum tree. I did fail botany twice, or once. Took it twice, failed it once, so please be gracious. Turns out they're terrible brandied cherries, but they are, without a doubt, the best brandied plums you will ever have. And so we have been plowing our way through this jar. It was only half full when we started, don't judge. And so we're gonna put 1 in my mouth and 2 in the cocktail, and they will serve as our brandied cherries. Now, if you don't have the capacity, wherewithal, or desire to make your own brandied plums, I would highly recommend Luxardo cherries. They are a little spendy, but as far as brandied cherries go, they are the Porsche of, or no, they're Italian, so you'd be the Lamborghini of brandied cherries. They are awesome. So that's it. An off the rails, unconventional Manhattan. And like I said, if you don't like this or you're offended, go reread Romans 14 and get back to me. And have a good day.